Hello and welcome back to Mrs. Gregoria's Virtual Math Lessons. In this video today, we're going to be reviewing how to write numbers with decimals, and we're going to write them in base 10 numeral form, expanded notation, unit form, and word form. So let's get started. Okay, again, these are the types of ways we're going to convert, switch, or change numbers to display them in different ways. We have base 10 numeral or standard form, number name or word form, expanded form, and expanded notation are the ones we're going to look at first. So here is how we are going to attack this challenge today. We are going to use a place value chart that even has our decimal, and we're also going to be building what these numbers would look like in real life using our base 10 blocks. So let's say the first amount that we're given is 3 groups of 10 is part of what this mystery number is that we are building. If we have 3 groups of 10, that means that we have 30. And that would look like 3 huge blocks, big cubes that we have made. And that would look like in standard form 30. So if we have 3 groups of 10s, that means we go to our tens place in our place value chart, and that's where we will put the 3. Next, we need to put 4 groups of 1 or 4 ones. If we built that, we would get our ones flats. We would have 4 of those. And if we have 4 ones, that makes 4. Where we would put that 4 on our place value chart is in the ones place. So that's where we will put our 4. So far we have 34. That we understand. But now we're going to get into the decimal world. So next in our mystery number, they want us to add in 2 groups of thousandths. Thousandths are very, very small. We need 1,000 of them to even make one of those giant flats. So having 2 groups of thousandths would look like this when we build it. The decimal of 2 thousandths would look like this. So where do you think that 2 is going to go in our place value chart? You're right, it's in the decimal, and it's very small, and it's all the way over in the thousandths. The next thing they'd like us to add into our mystery number is 6 groups of tenths, or 6/10ths. I think about what a tenth is, and we need 10 of them to make one flat. So this is what it would look like if we add in 6/10ths. Not tens like our giant cubes, but tenths. They're smaller than ones. The way we would write that as a decimal is 0.6. So where do you think we're going to put our 6 in our place value chart? Under the tenths. That's right. Now we're going to add one more mystery value, and that is 5 times 100, or 5 groups of 100ths. That means we need 100 of them to make one flat. Hundredths, because they are smaller than a 1. If we build 5 hundredths, it would look like this. The way we would write 5 groups of hundredths as a decimal is 0.05. And the way we would put this in our place value chart is that that digit 5 is going to go in a decimal place, and it's going to go in the hundredths. So we have actually built a lot of different ways to show that value right now on this screen. We've built it with base 10 blocks. We have written it in base 10 numeral or standard form, and we have also put it in expanded form and expanded notation. So if we're looking for which one is the base 10 numeral or the standard form of the number, that would be this one right here. We have 34 and, because anytime we see that decimal we say and, 652 thousandths. So that is how we would write it in base 10 numeral standard form. But what if we need to know the expanded form? Expanded form is where it's still going to be in decimal, and it's going to show the value of every single digit in our number. So that 3 in 34 we know isn't just a 3, it stands for 30. The way we have shown here our expanded form is when we expanded out what each digit was worth. That 3 is worth 30. The 4 was worth 4 ones. The 2 was 2 thousandths. The 6 was 6 tenths. And the 5 was 5 hundredths. So that is what it would look like if we put this number in expanded form. Expanded out that we're showing the value of every single digit. But what if we also need to know expanded notation? Expanded notation is a lot like expanded form, where we are breaking apart that amount and showing the value of every single digit in the number. However, we can use fractions when we are using decimals because they are a fraction or a smaller piece than 1. We need many parts of them to make 1. So which of these representations do you think might be the expanded notation? It is this one, where we are showing that we have blank groups of a unit, blank groups of an amount. So this was our version of expanded notation. And in that we often use fractions, but we could also use decimals as well. And instead of saying 2 groups of 1,000th as a fraction, we could say 2 groups of 0.001, showing what 1,000th would look like as a decimal. But there's one more form that we have not written yet, and that is the number name or the word form. The way we would do this is we are going to, just like in the last video if you've watched it, we are going to write our number name or word form, and we are going to write in words every single word that we say and pronounce as we read this number. So this number is 34 and 652 thousandths. What I say first is easy to read and say, which is 34. So in words, we will write 34. And we have to put the word and, because anytime we see a decimal, that is the only time we say and. And when we see a decimal, we have to make sure we write the word and. So far we have 34 and we have to look to know how to say this number correctly at the last digit in the number. And for this number, that last digit is 2. And I'm looking at where that 2 is, and I see it's not in the tenths, it's not in the hundredths, it's in the thousandths. So I know now when I read this number, I can say 652 thousandths. And just like the words that I would say out loud, those are the words that I am going to write. 652 thousandths. Now we have our word form, exactly what we would say when we read the number, but written out. And once again, that's 34 and 652 thousandths. There is all the forms we've talked about so far. Base 10 numeral or standard form, number name or word form, expanded form, and expanded notation. But there is actually one more form that we can write and say numbers in. And we've talked about this in class. Can you remember what it is? It is unit form. Now, unit form is very similar to expanded form and almost to word form, because in unit form we are going to expand it out. We're going to talk about the value of each digit, but we're also going to use words to write out what unit each digit is in. So if I have 3 in the 34 and 652 thousandths, I'm going to show that that 3 is 3 tenths. You see it has the digit, but it has the word tens. I might have said tenths, I'm sorry. 3 tens, to show that that 3 isn't just 3 ones, it is worth 3 groups of 10. Next, I'm going to look at the next digit, which is 4, and we know that's in the ones place. So in unit form, I would write that as 4 ones. Now we are in our decimal world, where things are smaller than one whole. So we know they're going to end in that THS. That digit 6 is actually 6 tenths. The digit 5 is worth 5 hundredths. And that digit 2 is actually worth 2 thousandths. Now we have all of our forms, base 10 numeral standard, number, name, or word form, expanded. Earlier we did expanded notation, and now you've even gotten to look at at unit form. So you'll see again in unit form what sometimes can be a little tricky and what some kiddos may confuse the number, name, and word form with unit form is that unit form will have some digits. It shows what each digit in the number represents. Word form has no digits, only words. But unit form does have some words, like in number, name, or word form. So now I want to challenge you to try some of these on your own. So let's look at this amount. It's in unit form right now, 273 thousandths. How would you write that in standard form using decimals? Go ahead and pause this video if you need to. Maybe get a piece of paper and a pencil and see if you now remember what standard form is, also known as base 10 numeral form, and write this using decimals. Did you try? All right, is your answer, does it look like this? 273 thousandths. We'll see that decimal is in the front because this entire amount is less than 1. Can you write the same amount, 273 thousandths, in expanded form using decimals? So this time we are going to take apart every single digit in this number and expand it out, showing the value of each digit. Go ahead, pause the video again, and give this a try on your own. Are you ready to check? Did you have 2/10ths plus 7/100ths plus 3/1000ths? If so, awesome, great job. If not, see where maybe you made a mistake and can try better the next time. All right, let's try one more time. This same amount, 273 thousandths, can we put it in expanded notation using fractions? This is where you'll have parentheses, and you will put each digit to groups of what? What fraction is the value of this digit? Think about, or go back in the video if you need to, of what expanded notation is. Pause this video, give it a try, and then let's check. Okay, time to look at expanded notation. That would be 2 groups of 1/10 plus 7 groups of 100ths and 3 groups of 1,000ths. All right, let's try one more. Try this number. This is actually given to us in base 10 numeral standard form, 25 and 413 thousandths. How would you write that in expanded form using decimals? Pause the video, give it a try. All right, let's check. The answer would be that 2 stands for 20. That digit 5, the value is 5 ones. That 4 is actually, the value is 4/10ths. The 1, the value is 1/100th. And the 3 is 3/1000ths. All right, I am so proud of you for taking this time to review your skills. Hopefully now you feel more confident. You're ready to go do some more practice on your own and show your teacher what you've mastered. Great job today, kiddos, and I will see you again soon.